Hi guys, it's Arshilahi. In today's video, we're going to be doing something slightly different where we're going to be looking at a member of the elite property tribe called Ashley Walker and what his property journey has looked like over the last 2 years. Before we do that, I need a small favor from you. If you can hit the subscribe button and hit the notification bell every time I release a new video, you get notified of it. So let's get moving into it. In a moment, you're going to be hearing from Ashley Walker directly, but his journey has been quite a phenomenal one, from going from a high paid job from the Raw Mile, going into Lidl, as well as some other companies that he's going to tell you about, now into a full-time property entrepreneur, and how he's been able to create what I would consider that work-life balance. So I really hope you enjoy the session, and more importantly, please feel free to ask any questions below, and don't forget to follow Ashley on his Instagram page as Pope Avenue. Hi, and welcome to a session of Meet the Tribe. So I'm here today with one of the first few members of the Elite Property Tribe, and also what I would say now good friend, Ashley Walker.
Thank you very much. Cheers. Thanks for the intro.
Right. Okay. And I thought I'd bring you in because I think your story is quite fascinating. So this isn't about how great the EPT is and all that. It's more so a case of you telling some of the people that are going to be watching this video, about your journey. So where did you start off? So what was it that you did? And then more importantly, where you are now, because I think that's quite an inspirational journey and a lot of people will relate to it.
Yeah, cool. So I kick off when I graduated from university in America in 2013. I came back to the UK and started just looking at graduate jobs. I wanted to get on the ladder, climb the ladder, and sort of, live that middle class life, nice car, nice house, etc. A few years in, I started looking at other avenues to make money because I just started to feel like there was sort of like a glass ceiling. I worked at Royal Mail and I worked at Lidl, the German retailer. So, quite demanding jobs. I was an operations manager in both roles, traveling around the country, staying away from family and the kids and that kind of thing. And I was building a family at the time. So I was always looking for something sort of different. I tried to set a football scholarship company.
You're talking about that because was it yourself that mentioned that were you semi-pro at one point?
Yeah, well, I played professionally. Only one game though.
Okay. Who for?
Kidderminster Harriers.
Fantastic. Okay.
So that's my little
club. What happened there? Was it injury or what?
No, just not good enough.
No.
And it's football. It's cutthroat. So I carried on playing semi-pro, and then got to a point where I was like, right, I want education and to carry on playing football. So I managed to get a scholarship to go to the USA in 2009. Done that until 2013, and then came back and then literally sort of got straight sucked into the rat race. But as you can imagine, I was 21 when I went over to America, so I was pretty much self-sufficient. So going over there, any money that I earned, I had to go and earn it. So coming back at 25 and sort of landing a graduate job with Royal Mail straight away, it was like, right, I'm about to get paid again. But a couple of years in, I was just like, listen, I don't think this is for me.
What was it that wasn't for you then? Because, Raw Mail, to be fair, if you stick at it, you've pretty much got a job for life.
And that's what they would say at Royal Mail. Like, when you walk through the doors, you don't walk back out, because most of the people stay there for 40 plus years. For me, the hours, it was like super early mornings, which, you get used to, you sort of crack it out. But I think the big thing for me was the reliance on other people to succeed, which it was very difficult because I started to just see that people haven't got the same mindset as me. People didn't want to do the same things. People probably didn't have the same attitude to a job and a role as me. So the cogs were always turning. And ultimately, the money that I was earning was good money at the time. Would it be good money now? No. Where would I be? Probably at that barrier, that sort of pinch point where...
Would you still be there?
Nah, no way. Not at Royal Mail. I mean, during my property journey when I first started, I then moved to Lidl, which was worse. The money was better, and I was
I'm going to talk about Lidl in a second, because I'm going to talk about the conversation that I'll never forget.
Okay, cool. Well, I went to Lidl and it was more money. So it was, 15, 20 grand raise. So I was like, okay, it doesn't matter what I have to do for this, I'll do it. And then you do 6 months and you're like, this is mental. Like, I can't do this for the rest of my life. And like I said, the cogs were turning. I was doing a bit of network marketing at the time. And that was, giving bits of money, bits of dribs and drabs. But the big thing that it done was sort of solidify the mindset of, being a business owner or being an investor. I started going down a crazy journey of personal development. And that really just changed the way I was wired up there.
Okay, cool. So when you're at Lidl, I got a call from a young gent called Ashley Walker. What did that conversation go like, Ash?
There was one call. I want to see if you remember this call, actually. There was one call when I was calling about a deal, because I was getting your deals for about a year before. Now, I didn't have a clue what BMV was, rent. I didn't know what was going on. But I've seen some deals, and some of the local ones. I thought, I'm going to give this guy a call, because you message always says, call. But I'm going to give this guy a call. It was a quick call. I don't even remember what happened, but I didn't have any money, didn't have any experience, so it was a quick call. But when I called you about EPT, if I remember rightly, it was just a case of, Ash, I've been looking around. I had gone to a couple of like one-day seminars like Rich Dad Poor Dad. I even went to one in Scotland, and I just said to you, listen, I've kind of checked the price, I've had a look, I want to do it. I'm like 100% in property, but it has to work.
So that was the thing. That was the thing. So for those that don't know, the EPT is the Elite Property Tribe. When Ashley called me, he goes, I'm pretty much putting all my trust in you.
Yeah.
All my trust in you, because this has to work. I'm spending my last bit of money. Now, I'll be honest, I got very nervous about that, because the last thing I want to do is be in a position where someone's utilized all their funds and they've got it, and I want to sleep at night knowing that you've been able to succeed. So Ash, fast forward then. So you joined the EPT. I had this pressure, that thinking, okay, I've got to make this guy, I've got to make sure, because you're still in your job, weren't you? You're still at Lidl.
Yeah, still at Lidl.
And you wanted to leave Lidl. You had a kind of time frame.
Yeah.
Okay, so talk to me about that.
It just got to a point where I was like, right, I have to do something. I had a sort of rustled up some funds, and I was like, right, instead of spending it or saving it, I'm going to invest it, and I'm going to invest it in myself. So obviously sort of, made the call to you. I was expecting my third child at the time. So around about probably January when I spoke to you.
So there was pressure. Was there pressure from home?
Pressure. I wouldn't say there was pressure from home. It's only the pressure probably that I put on myself.
Yeah.
I think my partner kind of she knows my mindset. So she kind of knows that when I'm going to go out and do something, I'm going to get it done properly. So there wasn't so much pressure from her. There was pressure in terms of time within the house, because we already had two young children. My missus was heavily pregnant with the third. And as I came to you to work with EPT, they changed my shift pattern at Lidl, if you remember. I used to work mornings. Yeah. So, by 2-3 o'clock, I'm out, I can do what I need to do. They changed my shift from it's the mid shift. So 11, sort of midday until until 10, 11 at night. So that took up like a huge chunk of the time where I would do property. So when I initially started property, as you know, it was a case of, up in the morning, if I need to get on viewings. If I need to make a couple of calls for 2 hours before I go to work, I do that. I remember being in a huge, I don't know how many 1,000 square feet fridge and just taking calls and speaking to landlords and investors, because I was trying at the time. And then I would go back at night, get back at 10, 11 o'clock, and I would scroll through Rightmove, Gumtree, all the different portals to build my list to speak to people the following morning. So I was grinding. There wasn't a minute I wasn't grinding.
When you say that, if you think of films like The Pursuit of Happiness, where he was there with the phone book, and he had it, and he was there, and he's then going on to the next appointment, and that kind of fully resonated. And to be fair, that's quite powerful, because lots of people that will be watching this will be in a similar position. Mm-hmm. So what made you do the jump then? So Ash, at what point did you decide that, I'm leaving Lidl, I'm gonna make property? And at that point, were you comfortable? Were you not comfortable? Did you decide to what?
I would say, that first year, 2018 in EPT, was a bit of a whirlwind, because I sourced a couple of deals sort of quickly, out the gates. And then I'll come on to it later, but then I started with my first sort of buy-to-let purchase, which was a sort of stroke of luck at the time. But yeah, it sort of got towards the end of the year at Lidl, and I was like, right, I need to start making plans. As you know, my 32nd birthday was a goal of mine. So I always said that I wanted to have the option of being able to leave employment by my 32nd birthday.
Can I ask a question?
Go on.
And I think everyone's going to want to know this. Did you hit the goal?
Yeah.
How old are you now?
34.
Okay, so 32nd birthday, you left.
Yeah, so I was made redundant the month before from a different company. So I left Lidl to a better job, easier for me at the time. And then the month before my 32nd birthday, so in August, I'd just come back from Miami. So, it had been I kind of left 2018, was like, yeah, it's been a good year at this property thing. Coming to 2019, saw some more deals. I'm doing all right. Take a little trip. Went to Miami. As I came back, basically got called in and got told, look, we're making you redundant. So that was a punch in the face. But it was a month before my 32nd birthday. And I sat there and I was like, right, I believe in coincidences. I believe in the stars aligning and all that kind of stuff. If I went and got another job then, a month before my goal, I would have been stupid. Financially, I absolutely wasn't in a position. In my head, I was like, right, I've probably got 2 or 3 months wages that will get me through, which, it get me probably just before Christmas. And I don't know if you remember, we had that land deal that we was working on?
Yeah. The one in Dublin.
Yeah. And that would have been one of my biggest deals. And that effectively would have given me enough to sort of pay my wages, I don't know, probably for the best part of 6 months or so. So it was a really big deal for me.
Okay. So let's keep moving moving on then. So in terms of deals then, I
Yeah.
suppose when we talk about the Elite Property Tribe, I've got to probably focus on, although this isn't about that, but it's also about what's it taught you.
To be honest, funny you asked me that. I was looking through my notes from yesterday, and I was just looking through the different weeks. And I would say it's given me a great grounding with a little bit of everything, if that makes sense. So I know bits and bobs about planning. I know how to sort of navigate my way around a planning portal, and that's because of the training that we've got from yourself. I believe there was a lady that you brought in at one point that just spoke about planning, and that sort of obviously pinged my ears. HMO training. The training has given me, I say to property professionals now, I know a little bit about a lot. So I feel like you could come to me with anything and I would have an idea or an angle, or I can probably point you at least in the right direction of someone. And to be fair, Ash, I think that comes from you. As you know, when I first started working, it was like, right, I'm kind of looking at these types of deals, whatever these are. And I remember you always saying every property can be a deal.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of saying every property has an angle somewhere, but it depends on how creative you are, how strategic you are as to what you do with that deal.
Yeah, 100%.
And more importantly, it's about monetizing every lead. And I think you're actually doing that right now.
Yeah, exactly.
So I suppose I've got to ask the question, how easy was it? Was it easy? Was it not? Was it tough? Was it difficult? Is it easy?
It's not easy, no way. You can make it simple, but it's not easy. I believe just being a property professional, it's not easy. You can create a good life and you can create an easy life, but I believe you have to have I feel like you have to have a different level of like a mental fortitude. You really need to have like steel about you, because any angle that you turn can be a potential problem.
Okay.
You know, say for instance, purchasing a property, you could go in, you've got money in the bank, you've got a mortgage in principle, you go to purchase a property, you're struggling to get an offer accepted. Then you get an offer accepted, you might then have a solicitor you've never worked with, and it could be a super slow solicitor. There could be leaks in the chain and you don't know where the leaks are, and you have to go and investigate and find out whether, it's the agent that hasn't sent the sales memo, or the solicitor hasn't picked something up, or, there's so many different bits that you need to be, I would say, adept at to be a good property professional. But in terms of simplicity, again, there's so many strategies out there that you can pick a strategy or a couple of strategies.
So I suppose going on that then, let's talk on strategies. What's your main strategy right now? Because I know that you've acquired some properties in the period that you've been with me. What's the portfolio looking like, and what strategies have you employed?
It's looking healthy right now. I've got my own personal portfolio, which is, one of my big goals was to create my own personal portfolio.
The first property, shall we talk about the first property?
Yeah, let's do it.
How much money did it cost you?
All in with refurb, probably about 90k.
Okay, and how much of that did you get back out?
All of it.
So you've now got an asset that doesn't owe you anything?
Exactly that. So that was my first BRRR. It was my first purchase. It was my first purchase that I used bridging finance that I didn't have a clue about at all. It was the first property I purchased and put in my portfolio. It was the first property I purchased and didn't view before I purchased it. Yeah. So I made all the mistakes, or all the things that a lot of people that probably aren't property professionals or aren't in it would probably tell you not to. Like, how many people would be told to use bridging finance on their first purchase?
To be fair, Ash, I disagree, because you picked up the phone to me quite a few times and you said, Ash, what do you reckon to this?
Yeah.
I'm very calculated. I would not let you have done it if I thought you were at risk.
Yeah, of course.
And so in that respect, I appreciate that, at times it was scary because you've never done it.
Yeah.
But I would not have pushed you and said, you know what, don't worry. And I would have said, trust the system.
Yeah, of course.
Trust the system, trust the process.
Yeah.
And watch the outcome. Off the back of that, you've got that first property, you've got it rented.
Yeah.
You did that as a single let, is that right?
Single let, yeah. All single lets.
You've decided just to keep single let. Is that just for ease and speed?
It's partly because I feel like I'm much more experienced in the industry now. I'm based in Birmingham. I feel like I know the Birmingham area inside out. I've had a lot in the last couple of years. I've had a huge amount of experience with HMOs, whether that's sourcing, whether that's project managing HMOs, whether that's dealing with architecture and design and all that kind of stuff. So I've got a really good understanding of it. And just for me, my preference is sort of a BRRR buy to let over HMOs at the moment. I'm not saying I won't diversify into it, but for now, my thing is like slow and steady, buy to lets over there. And now that I've built a base, now I want to start going on to the bigger things. I think I'm going to probably skip HMOs. I want to go straight into commercial to resi, land deals, that type of stuff.
It's good. The word that you used was base, because now you've got a base level where you know that you've got a static income.
Yeah.
Now springboard off that.
Exactly. exactly.
Okay, brilliant. So what's the portfolio looking like now then? How many properties are there?
Got 5 in there now.
Okay, so out of the 5, this is going to be a key question.
Go on.
Those, did you get all your money back out, or have you had to keep money in?
So if I say I've left 25k
Across all 5?
across all 5.
Wow, okay.
Yeah.
Not many people can boast that, Ash.
I know. I had to do it though. You know how it goes, Ash. It was like needs must. So I haven't physically got the money there to kind of say, right, there's 40 grand, get a buy to let. I had to do BRRRs.
Yeah.
So my sourcing had to be better than everybody else's.
Yeah.
You know, my creativity had to be better. My angles had to be better because I didn't have the money there. I had to. My process is, fairly simple. It's similar to what you kind of taught me, but I've just stripped it down. That purchase price, lease extension and refurb, what's the end value? If it works on those initial numbers there, I'm going after it.
Yeah.
I'm going after it because the difference for me between leaving 5 grand in a deal and 10 grand in a deal really isn't that much. For me, it's building that asset base.
Yeah, absolutely. So now you've got a portfolio that produces you income. On top of that, now I know that you're wearing your Pope Avenue hat, which is the name of your company.
Yeah.
And then what does Pope Avenue do?
So we do sourcing, project management, and consultation. So pretty much everything property-wise. I tell people, if you need something, give me a call. But the main thing is sort of sourcing, project management, and consulting. I'm doing quite a lot of consulting in the Birmingham area with investors that are either in the area or looking to work in the area.
So over the last couple of years, how many projects have you done?
Probably the best part of 20.
So that's 20 properties that you've sourced.
Yeah.
Properties that you've refurbed, brought up to standard, managed consultation, etc. And what does that look like from an income level?
It's good. As you know, you've got business overheads and that kind of stuff. I make it crystal clear to a lot of people. In terms of like a recurring income that I've built up, I haven't built up one that matches my salary at my job yet. Obviously, I've had months where it's been, we can have takeaways every day if needed. But there has been some months where it's been like, bloody hell, like it's a day before, mortgage payment day and you need to get your act together. Either some invoices need to be paid or things need to be done. So it's not for the faint hearted, but I always kind of had that faith. I always have this thing where I've put the work in. So I know if I'm waiting around for something, I'm just waiting. It's there, it's done.
Yeah. And we talked just before we came on this about you're waiting on a refinance, aren't you?
Let's get it.
On a refinance.
Let's get it in before Christmas, as it's going to be a bad Christmas.
No, man. So, and then the refinance that you got, how much are you expecting to come back in?
So I've got 2 refinances coming in. I'm going to be pulling in 50k off one and about 45k off the other.
Okay, so you've got best part of 100 grand coming in.
Yeah.
And then that's then going to go back out on another deal after Christmas, hopefully.
100%. And
you're using that money just consistently to purchase, refurb, get back in. And then I should mention that you've also done quite a decent deal with an investor that you actually met in the EPT.
Yes.
And he's now become one of your, what's the best word to call him? One of your investors in your project.
Private investor, yeah. So, probably because of what he had seen me do in sort of 2019 and 2020, where I really hit it hard. I came into 2021, right? I know I can do BRRRs. I just need those initial funds. Started putting it out there. He had contacted me from EPT, remembered me, had been watching my journey, sort of watching the growth. And it was like, right, find yourself a project. If the numbers stack, it's funded for you.
Fantastic. Okay. So what's the future look like?
Future, going into next year, I'm, writing my goals now, getting my goals together now. So I'm looking at definitely bigger deals. I want to do a couple of flips. I was meant to do a flip this year, but it fell out of bed. But now it's about, I feel like I've done the property thing in kind of the backwards way. I've built the asset base and not really worried about the cash flow because I'm just like, I can get through it now. Now I'm looking and I'm like, right, I really want to maximize this cash flow.
I think, to be fair, Ash, don't beat yourself up because you think of where you've come in those 2 years. So you've education. So you've learned it, you've then interpreted it, you've then applied it. Off the back of that, then you've gone off and you sourced. We found a few deals, we're paid out quite quickly.
Yeah.
Off the back of that, you've also built a asset base, which is producing your cash flow.
Yeah.
On top of that, you've got your management, your consultancy, as well as the sourcing and all the things that you're doing there.
Yeah.
So, you're going along the right way. You've got multiple streams of income. You've got income from the base. You've got income from the consultancy. And now I appreciate what you want to do, that you want to now move it further along.
Yeah.
But it's all part of the progression. It's all
100%.
part of the process.
Yeah, 100%.
So I suppose just to wrap up, if you're to give us some golden tips on what you've learned along the way, I suppose the question is, I should ask this for my own ego. Has EPT helped you?
Nah, Now, of course, it has. No, it's been massive. It's been a massive help. It's been my springboard, and I think really, hence why I'm here and still sort of got a relationship with yourself, because it's been that good. It's given me the base, and you know me, I'm always about gratitude, and big up yourself, Ash. Like I said, I came that day and I was like, this needs to work. You've got to make this work.
As part of the EPT, you couldn't get to come and spend the day with me in my office here. And Ashley walked in that day and he goes, Ash, we need to leave with a deal. And I felt his stress, I felt his anxiety.
Yeah.
But Ash, what did we do at the end of that day?
It was the last call. I started packing up my laptop. And I was like, I'm going to do one more. I looked at Gumtree and someone had just uploaded something 2 minutes round the corner from your ass, a perfect rent to rent. And we literally got that wrapped up, in a week or so?
Yeah, it was a couple of days.
And that was my first deal.
First deal. And that kind of gave you the taste of it to show you how easy it is. So I suppose my question is, anyone watching this and they're completely new to it, or they're thinking about either getting educated, thinking about either jumping into some kind of sourcing or the property business in general, what would you suggest?
I would definitely suggest jumping on EPT. Just the tribe, the people. You've got people in there that have done everything. And then
what about the confidence? Because doing deals and that is great, but I suppose the big thing for me is trying to instill confidence in people.
For me,
there are going to be times. Would you suggest that people want to fall off the tracks? And I see it all the time. Okay, I made a call and it kind of didn't go according to plan. And I start to question, can I do this? Or do I have the ability to do this? So I suppose, from the confidence and the motivation, what have you done to keep you going?
Personal development, like you've got to sort of dig deep into personal development. I think every entrepreneur does to a point, because like I said, you have to build up that mental fortitude. It's not personal. When it comes to business, it's not personal. So if a landlord throws the phone down and your agent thinks you sound rubbish, guess what? It's just an opportunity for you to improve. You can go out there, if you make 100 calls and you miss with 100 calls, to me, there's an area for opportunity. But as you know, Ash, with the training and the work and the personal development, sometimes it meets that bit of opportunity, and that's where the luck's created. That's where you might get something you're like, okay, I've done well there. You know me personally as well. I think I made a few calls in the first few weeks. Well, I made a lot of calls in the first few weeks of EPT to agents, and I felt like I wasn't getting anywhere. And I didn't do it for a long while, and that probably blocked off a huge pipeline for me.
But then you got to remember that every call I try to praise. Even today, I still try to praise every call. And after the call, I sit back and think, okay, how did that call go? What did they like? What went well? What were they responding to? And what were they not responding to? The things that they were turning up at, they're turning their nose up at, or they were saying, sorry, I can't help you. How can I overcome those objections? So you should use every phone call as almost like a training session as well.
Yeah, 100%.
And then off the back of that, you can say, okay, they like that part, I'm going to keep that part. They didn't like that part, I'm going to probably scrap that part out. And then that's where you start to create, I wouldn't call it a script, I don't like scripts, but I like to think that you've got like bullet points that you can kind of point to and say, okay, we can go here, we can go here. And as a result, that's when you start to create your craft. And I think that if I was to sum this whole session up, is that you've perfected your craft. You know what you're looking for, you know what area you're working for, you know what the figures are looking like, you know that if you get in, you can get out. And you've done that, and you've shown that over 5 properties, and you've built a portfolio. However many people watching this can say that they've built a portfolio within the base of 20 to 25 grand. Not very many can. So, kudos to you.
Appreciate it, mate. Thank you.
Any final thoughts or any final words that you want to say to anyone that's watching this?
If you really want it, then it's there for the taking. So if you want to if you want to change your life like I did and want to create a work-life balance, and you want to be able to go to your kids' assemblies and your kids' parents' evening and football matches and be at everybody's parties without having to worry, then you've just got to make the decision. And once you make that decision, you partner up with someone like Ash and EPT, and then you just have to work the plan. That's all it is. The plan's there. I've done it. There's been loads of other people that have done it, to varying degrees of success. So you've just got to get out there and work it.
Brilliant. Well, Ash, want to say thank you for your time. Appreciate that you're busy. Go out and grind. Let's see what 2022 has in store for you, because I've always said to you that I'm always there for you. Always there. If you need a chat, you want to literally a call where you think things aren't going right, or it's not going in that direction, let's have a chat. Let's get you back to that space where you're in a good place.
100%, mate. 100%.
Brilliant.
I appreciate it.
Brilliant, Ash. Well, thank you very much for your time, and hopefully everyone's enjoyed it. If you don't want to reach out to Ash, go check out his Instagram page. You can see on his cap, it's called Hope Avenue. Go and check out his Instagram page. Feel free to DM him and just see what he's all about. But more importantly, let's see what we can do and work together. So guys, on that note, thank you very much. And I'll speak to you all shortly. So there we have it, guys. Hopefully you really enjoyed that. Hopefully you've resonated with Ashley's journey. So some of you may already be in Ashley's position where you are currently sat in a job that you either don't enjoy, you find stressful, you're finding too time intensive, and more importantly, you want to escape. Now, the reason why I did the video is so that hopefully it motivates quite a few of you to say, you know what, you can do this, that you can also escape the rat race and you can have that balance of work life so that Ashley gets to see his kids when he goes to assemblies, school plays, goes on holidays, and he decides to work when he wants and with who he wants. He's built up a multiple level of businesses where they give him sustainable income, and that will be from his portfolio, that'll be from his sourcing business, that'll be from his consultancy business. So he's got multiple streams of income. Hopefully that's something that you can get to. Now, the reason why I did that video is so that you can also be aware that the Elite Property Tribe is opening their doors. We don't start the actual program until the first Monday in February 2022, but if you want to get involved, the best way of doing it is by registering your interest right now by going to my website, which is arshilahi.com, by looking at the link below and going onto the contact page, and in the contact screen just leave your name, your email address and phone number and what you currently do, how many properties you got in your portfolio and what you're hoping to achieve over the next year or 2 years, and I'll see if the EPT is the right fit for you. We are limited on spaces. We don't take every man and his dog. We only want people that we think are going to be right. So you've got to have the ability to want to learn. You've got to have the ability to want to implement, and you've got to want to push yourself out of your comfort zone, exactly what like Ashley did. There are going to be other people that I'm going to showcase over the next few weeks who have done exactly the same, and you can see that the results speak for themselves. So it is a longer video than usual. Hopefully you've really taken and you've enjoyed the content that we've put out there. As always, if you want more free content, you can check us out on our podcast that I release every Tuesday at 6 a.m. It's called The Property Rebel, where I say that I don't conform to the property norm. As well as that, you can connect with me on social media, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter, and Clubhouse, just to name a few. And finally, if you haven't already done so, when Ashley sourced some of his deals, he put them on the Property Investor app and he sold them very quickly. So if you want to see the kind of deals that he sourced or different kinds of property opportunities, go and check out the Property Investor app. Now you can do this by either going to our website, which is propertyinvestораpp.co.uk, or you can go to the App Store if you've got a smartphone and search for Property Investor, and you'll see almost like 200 property deals all in the palm of your hand within the space of a couple of minutes. So guys, on that note, I really hope that you've enjoyed that different session, and as always, I wish you to be safe, well and happy, and I look forward to speaking to you all soon. Thank you and bye-bye.